and I will crack the Matrix. Nothing is stopping me from becoming Batman.
People said they don't like it, and I said, well, what color's your Bugatti?
$35,000 watch, cash. $5,000 shirt, cash. Cash!
He called himself the top G, a man above the rules, a symbol of absolute confidence, and a self-made millionaire who claimed to beat the system. But the truth behind Andrew Tate isn't about luxury, fast cars, or flashy bravado.
Are you going to launch your own crypto?
No, I'm never gonna launch a crypto. I just like to with crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter are full of the biggest degenerate losers on the planet. They're losers. Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero.
It's a tangled web of controversy, manipulation, and disturbing allegations that challenge everything his followers believed. What if the man who inspired millions was, in fact, building his empire on exploitation and deception? This is the dark reality of Andrew Tate, exposed. And by the end of this video, you'll see why the world needs to look beyond the image and question the influencer who claimed to have all the answers. Subscribe now to Fraud and Fortune for more gripping exposés and shocking truths from behind the curtain of power and fame. Andrew Tate was born in December 1986 in Washington, D.C., to Emory Tate, an African-American chess master known for his brilliance and volatility. Growing up under the shadow of a genius, Andrew adopted a worldview defined by strength, strategy, and control. But life wasn't easy. After his parents divorced, Andrew moved with his mother and siblings to Luton, England, a far cry from the glitz he would later surround himself with. It was here, in a modest home, that the seeds of his hyper-competitive mindset began to take root. As a young man, Tate turned to kickboxing, seeking discipline and status in the ring. He achieved genuine success, winning multiple world titles. But even then, the money was limited and the fame was niche. Tate understood something critical. Fighting didn't sell, but personality did. So he leaned into a different arena, the internet. By the mid-2010s, Andrew Tate began carving out a digital persona that was part alpha male, part motivational guru, and part provocateur. He blended traditional ideas of masculinity with brutal, often misogynistic takes on relationships and power dynamics. His message resonated, particularly with young men who felt ignored or emasculated in a rapidly changing world. But as his following grew, so did the controversy. His statements became bolder, more inflammatory, some would say dangerous. He claimed women should bear responsibility for being raped. He said depression isn't real. He branded himself as the ultimate solution to modern weakness, and millions listened. But Tate wasn't just speaking, he was selling. Enter Hustlers University, a monthly subscription program that promised to turn average guys into self-made millionaires. Inside the course, users found generic content, basic business models like dropshipping, crypto speculation, copywriting, and affiliate marketing. But here's the catch. Over 100,000 paying members. That's nearly $5 million per month. But critics warned that this wasn't a school. It was a cleverly disguised MLM, where the real product was Andrew Tate himself. Members were told to create social media accounts to repost Andrew Tate's content, flooding the internet with his face and phrases. It was a self-replicating machine. Not education, but engineered virality. Tate had effectively gamed the algorithm. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube were overwhelmed with thousands of clips, edited by fans eager for affiliate commissions. The more they posted, the more Hustlers University grew. He boasted about exploiting emotions, isolating women from their families, and controlling their finances. At times, it sounded more like psychological warfare than business. He called it pimping the digital age. Others called it grooming. Then everything began to crumble. On December 29, 2022, Romanian authorities raided Andrew Tate's mansion. Alongside his brother Tristan, He was arrested on charges of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. The investigation, which had been quietly unfolding for months, alleged that Tate lured women into Romania with promises of love and stability, only to coerce them into sex work. Multiple victims came forward with chilling accounts of psychological manipulation, physical threats, and financial control. According to prosecutors, Tate's lavish compound wasn't just a home, it was a prison. Despite the serious charges, Tate and his supporters claimed innocence. He insisted the entire case was a political hit job, a globalist attack against a man speaking the truth. He referred to it as a matrix attack, suggesting that elite forces were trying to silence him. The internet, predictably, split. Some believed the evidence. Others saw a conspiracy. But while the legal process dragged on, one truth became undeniable. Andrew Tate's influence was spreading faster than ever. Even after being banned from major platforms, his voice remained everywhere, through the accounts of fans, podcasters, and fringe influencers. Young boys started quoting him in school. His views on women, depression, and dominance became normalized in some circles. It wasn't just a brand anymore. It was a movement, and that's what makes the story even more dangerous. Tate didn't just sell courses, he sold ideology, one that glorified control, rejected empathy, and reduced human relationships to transactions. But what about the women? What about the victims? In the wake of his arrest, several women told harrowing stories of how they were manipulated into working for him. One woman said she was locked in a room and told she couldn't leave. Another claimed she was beaten and forced to earn a quota or face punishment. Their voices were often drowned out by Tate's army of defenders, who dismissed them as liars or attention seekers. But behind each accusation was a common thread: a man who promised love and delivered control. So who is Andrew Tate, really? A self-made entrepreneur? A misunderstood truth-teller? Or a dangerous manipulator who built an empire on lies, lust, and exploitation? The answer depends on who you ask. But what we do know is this: the systems that allowed him to thrive, social media algorithms, online anonymity, toxic fandom, are still very much in place. If it wasn't Tate, it would have been someone else. But it was Tate, and now the world must deal with the consequences of his rise. Andrew Tate once said, "I know the game, I know how to play it, and I always win." We uncover the real stories behind the frauds, fakes, and fortunes that dominate headlines. Because behind every fortune is a fraud waiting to be exposed.